Should you handle critical services in-house or outsource them? It's a key decision that can make a huge difference in how your practice operates, the quality of care you provide, and of course, your bottom line. And a note about today's episode. As a consultant, it would be easy for me to say, outsource everything, as that's the way we make our money. But I can see that in many cases, outsourcing doesn't make sense, and I'm interested in an even-handed review of the pros and cons. Welcome to Medical Money Matters, the podcast where you can find experts, answers, and resources so that you can achieve mastery over the financial and business aspects of your practice. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Chillerina. I began my career in accounting and finance, and I have more than 30 years of experience running medical groups. I own and operate a national healthcare consulting and revenue cycle company, and I am the author of Physician Heal Life Financial Self. In 2020, I co-founded the Physician Leadership Project, and my passion is to increase financial and business literacy for physicians. Episode 94. Keep it in-house or outsource? That is the question. Welcome to the Medical Money Matters podcast, where we dive into the financial and operational issues that matter most to medical practices. Today, we're exploring a topic that every practice has to confront at some point. Should you handle critical services in-house or outsource them? It's a key decision that can make a huge difference in how your practice operates, the quality of care you provide, and of course, your bottom line. And a note about today's episode. As a consultant, it would be easy for me to say, outsource everything, as that's the way we make our money. But I can see that in many cases, outsourcing doesn't make sense, and I'm interested in an even-handed review of the pros and cons. We'll be breaking this down into a few key areas. First, we'll look at the services most commonly outsourced by medical practices. This includes IT, revenue cycle management, human resources, marketing, and more recently, fractional CFO services, and even long-term leadership roles, like hiring a consultant group to provide ongoing management. After that, we'll compare the pros and cons of keeping these services in-house versus outsourcing them to external vendors or consultants. The right approach for your practice is going to depend on a lot of factors: your size, budget, patient volume, and growth plans. But the goal today is to give you a clearer sense of how each option could impact your practice so you can make informed decisions that lead to better outcomes for both your team and your patients. Let's get started. Let's start by talking about commonly outsourced services in medical practices. First up, let's look at services medical practices often decide to outsource. Each of these areas comes with its own set of challenges, so it's easy to see why outsourcing can be attractive. Here are some of the most commonly outsourced services. First, IT services. Technology is at the heart of modern medical practices, whether it's managing electronic health records, maintaining secure networks, or ensuring HIPAA compliance. Outsourcing IT services can relieve a lot of headaches. Managed IT providers offer 24/7 support, system maintenance, and cybersecurity, which are all crucial in healthcare where data breaches can be catastrophic. The reality is that most practices, especially small to mid-sized ones, don't have the resources or expertise to handle these needs in-house, making outsourcing a smart choice for many. Billing and revenue cycle management are another huge area where outsourcing makes sense. The complexity of coding, claims submissions, denials management, and dealing with insurance companies is daunting. Mistakes here can directly impact your revenue, causing delays in payment or outright denials. That's why many practices opt to outsource their RCM to third-party billing companies who specialize in keeping up with coding changes, handling insurance requirements, and getting claims paid faster. This can be a major win in terms of efficiency and revenue optimization to increase your take-home pay. Human resources might not be top of mind for many physicians, but it's essential to the smooth running of your practice. Payroll, benefits administration, compliance with employment laws. These are things that need to be done right to avoid penalties or unhappy employees. Outsourcing HR to a firm that specializes in these areas can save time and reduce risk. These providers often offer more robust tools for managing things like recruitment, employee onboarding, mandatory trainings, and even performance tracking, which smaller practices may not be able to handle effectively on their own. Then there's marketing. Many practices outsource their digital marketing, website management, and patient engagement activities to specialized firms. These services have become more important than ever in a competitive healthcare environment. Whether it's optimizing your website for search engines, managing your social media presence, or developing patient outreach programs, outsourced marketing can offer expertise and creativity that might be lacking in-house. The right marketing strategy can help attract new patients and build a stronger practice reputation. One of the newer trends we're seeing is the use of fractional CFO services. A fractional CFO is essentially a part-time financial executive who provides the high-level financial oversight and strategy that your practice needs without the cost of hiring a full-time CFO. This is a great option for practices that need more sophisticated financial planning, such as budget forecasting, profitability analysis, and cash flow management. If you're finding that your practice's financial needs have outgrown what your office manager or bookkeeper can handle, a fractional CFO might be the perfect solution. Finally, let's talk about outsourcing leadership roles to consulting groups. It's not just about short-term engagements anymore. Some practices are outsourcing their long-term leadership positions. Whether it's a chief operating officer to manage day-to-day operations or a chief financial officer for financial oversight, consulting groups are stepping in to provide high-level leadership. This is especially helpful during times of transition, such as merger or acquisition, where experienced guidance can make all the difference. By bringing in external executives, practices can benefit from expertise and industry insights without the commitment or cost of hiring permanent leadership. These are the core services the practices are outsourcing today, and in many cases, it makes a lot of sense to hand these tasks over to experts. However, there are always trade-offs, and that brings us to the next part of our episode, the pros and cons of outsourcing versus keeping these services in-house. Let's start with the pros of keeping services in-house. One of the biggest advantages is control and customization. When you handle services like billing, IT, or marketing internally, you have complete control over how those functions are run. You can tailor them to meet the specific needs of your practice, whether that's adjusting billing processes to match your patient population or customizing your IT systems for better workflow efficiency. When something needs to change, you don't have to wait for an external vendor to get involved. You can make decisions quickly and directly. Another benefit is that your staff is familiar with your practice culture. An in-house team will inherently understand your practice's mission, values, and priorities. This can lead to better communication across departments and a more seamless integration of services. For example, an in-house billing team is more likely to understand the nuances of your patient base, leading to fewer errors and faster processing times. In some cases, keeping services in-house can also lead to long-term cost savings. Sure, the upfront costs are higher. You need to invest in hiring, training, and infrastructure. But once you've established these systems, the ongoing costs might be lower than what you'd pay for an external vendor services. It really depends on how efficiently you can run things internally. But there are some clear downsides to keeping services in-house too. The most obvious is higher fixed costs. Full-time employees come with salaries, benefits, and training expenses. Plus, there's the cost of technology, whether that's servers for IT, billing software, or even basic marketing tools. If your practice is small or mid-sized, these costs can really add up, and it might be hard to justify the expense. Another downside is the limited expertise you might have access to. Medical billing, IT security, and financial management are all specialized areas, and it's rare to find a single staff member or small team who can handle all of these areas with the expertise they require. This can lead to inefficiencies and even costly mistakes, especially when you consider the regulatory requirements in healthcare. For example, HIPAA violations due to a poorly managed IT system can be both financially damaging and harmful to your practice's reputation. Finally, managing these services in-house can be a significant distraction for your practice leadership. Your time should be spent focusing on patient care and clinical operations, not troubleshooting billing issues or worrying about cybersecurity. If administrative tasks start to pile up, it can take away from what really matters, your patients. Now, let's switch gears and talk about the pros of outsourcing. The biggest advantage of outsourcing is access to expertise and best practices. When you outsource billing, IT, or HR, you're getting access to professionals who are experts in their field. They stay up to date with the latest trends, regulations, and technology, which can be invaluable in fields like healthcare, where things are always changing. For example, an outsourced RCM company will likely have specialists dedicated to keeping up with changes in medical coding and insurance policies, ensuring faster claim processing and fewer denials. Outsourcing can also be more cost-efficient and flexible. Instead of paying a full-time salary for in-house staff, you're only paying for the services you need. This is especially beneficial for smaller practices that don't have a consistent need for certain services. For instance, a fractional CFO can provide expert financial oversight on an as-needed basis without the cost of hiring a full-time CFO. Similarly, outsourcing IT or telemedicine platforms can be scaled up or down depending on your practice's needs without the need for expensive infrastructure investments. Another major benefit is that outsourcing allows you to focus on your core competencies. By handing off non-clinical services to external experts, you and your team can concentrate on providing high-quality patient care. This is crucial because every minute spent troubleshooting billing errors or managing payroll is time taken away from the core mission of your practice and your core earning potential. However, there are some cons to outsourcing. One of the most commonly cited issues is a loss of control. When you outsource, you're giving up some degree of oversight over how things are done. This can be frustrating, especially if your vendor doesn't fully understand the unique needs of your practice. Changes or adjustments may take longer to implement, and it can be harder to ensure that the vendor's priorities align with yours. There's also the risk of inconsistent quality or service. Since most outsourcing firms serve multiple clients, you may not always get the level of attention you need. This can be especially problematic when it comes to patient-facing services like billing or marketing. If the vendor is not delivering a consistent or high-quality service, it can reflect poorly on your practice. And finally, data security and compliance risks are a big concern when outsourcing, especially in healthcare. Anytime you're handing over sensitive patient data to a third-party vendor, you're increasing your risk exposure. Even though most outsourcing companies have strong security protocols in place, the responsibility for any breach still falls on your practice. Ensuring that you have a business associates agreement in place and that your outsourced vendor is fully compliant with HIPAA and other regulations is critical, but managing those contracts and data sharing agreements can be complex and time-consuming. So, to sum up, outsourcing gives you access to expertise, reduces cost, and allows you to focus on your core practice, but it comes with trade-offs in terms of control, consistency, and risk management. That leads us to a question every practice has to consider. Is outsourcing the right decision for your practice? Or are there areas where keeping things in-house might be a better fit? For many practices, the answer might lie in a hybrid approach where some services, like patient engagement or marketing, are outsourced, while others, like HR or financial management, remain in-house. Each practice is unique, so understanding your own needs and limitations is key to making the right decision. Now let's dive into some of the emerging trends that are changing the way medical practices approach outsourcing. These trends are shaping how practices can better streamline operations, improve patient care, and stay financially healthy in an increasingly competitive landscape. One of the most exciting developments in outsourcing is the rise of artificial intelligence and automation in revenue cycle management. Traditionally, medical billing has been a labor intensive process. Coding, claim submissions, handling denials, it all requires significant time and expertise. But AI is beginning to change that. Many outsourcing firms are now integrating AI driven platforms that can handle repetitive tasks like coding and claim submission with a higher degree of accuracy than human teams. AI can spot errors before claims are even submitted, reducing the chances of denials and speeding up the payment process. Automation also improves efficiency by streamlining the follow-up of unpaid claims, reducing the workload on staff, and allowing billing teams to focus on more complex issues. For medical practices, this means faster payments, fewer billing errors, and reduced overhead costs. It's also a great example of how outsourcing firms are leveraging cutting-edge technology that in-house teams often can't afford or don't have the time to implement. Next, we have cloud-based IT solutions, which have been gaining traction for a few years now, and for good reason. Rather than maintaining costly in-house servers, more and more practices are turning to outsourced IT firms that offer cloud-based platforms. These systems are highly scalable, secure, and easier to update, offering flexibility that's hard to match with in-house IT departments. Cloud solutions allow practices to access their EHR, patient data, and other critical systems from anywhere, making remote work and telemedicine much easier. Outsourcing IT to firms that specialize in healthcare also means your practice benefits from top-tier cybersecurity measures. These firms focus on safeguarding patient data and ensuring HIPAA compliance, reducing the risk of data breaches, which is crucial in today's digital-first healthcare environment. What's more, cloud-based solutions offer robust data backup and disaster recovery options, which can be lifesavers if your systems go down. For smaller and mid-sized practices, outsourcing IT to the cloud is often more affordable and provides better service than maintaining an in-house IT team. We touched on fractional CFO services earlier, but this trend is growing rapidly. More practices are realizing they need high-level financial guidance, but they don't necessarily need or can't afford a full-time CFO. A fractional CFO provides this strategic financial oversight on a part-time basis. These professionals help practices with critical financial functions like budget forecasting, profitability analysis, and cash flow management, which are especially important in times of growth, transition, or financial uncertainty. Practices that work with fractional CFOs benefit from deep financial expertise without the hefty price tag of a full-time executive. We're also seeing a rise in long-term outsourced leadership roles beyond CFOs, like chief operating officers or practice administrators. Consulting groups are now providing long-term, high-level management to practices that need help with strategic planning, growth, or operational efficiency. Outsourcing leadership can be particularly beneficial during transitions, such as mergers, acquisitions, or major operational changes. These external leaders bring industry-specific knowledge and a fresh perspective, helping practices navigate complex challenges without the commitment or expense of hiring full-time leadership. It's a trend that's growing, especially among practices looking to scale or restructure. Another area where outsourcing is booming is telemedicine. The pandemic accelerated the adoption of virtual care, and it's clear that telemedicine is here to stay. Many practices are choosing to outsource their telemedicine infrastructure to external vendors rather than build their own systems. These vendors handle everything from patient scheduling to video platforms and even integration with EHR systems. Outsourcing telemedicine not only reduces the burden on your practice, but ensures that you're staying compliant with HIPAA and other regulations governing virtual care. The ability to outsource these services allows practices to expand their telemedicine offerings quickly and efficiently without needing to invest in costly software or worry about infrastructure maintenance. Finally, let's talk about data analytics and business intelligence. More practices are partnering with external firms to tap into the power of data-driven decision-making. Outsourcing data analytics can provide deep insights into everything from patient outcomes to practice performance, financial health, and even staffing needs. These firms use advanced analytics to track key performance indicators like patient satisfaction, appointment trends, billing efficiency, and more. Some even offer predictive analytics that can help practices anticipate trends and make proactive decisions. For instance, analytics can reveal when patient volumes are likely to peak, allowing you to better manage staffing or marketing efforts. By leveraging data from an outsourced partner, practices can make smarter, evidence-based decisions that improve both patient care and operational efficiency. This is an area that's still developing, but it's one to watch as more practices realize the value of using data to guide their strategic planning. So where does this leave us? As we've discussed, the decision to outsource or keep services in-house depends on the specific needs of your practice, your budget, and your long-term goals. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, but I hope today's discussion has given you a clearer understanding of the options available. We've talked about the pros and cons of each approach, and we've looked at the key areas where outsourcing makes sense, everything from IT and billing to HR, marketing, and financial leadership. We've also explored some of the exciting trends shaping the future of outsourcing, like AI-driven billing, cloud-based IT, and fractional CFOs. If there's one takeaway, it's that outsourcing isn't just about saving money. It's about accessing expertise, improving efficiency, and allowing your practice to focus on what it does best, providing exceptional patient care. By offloading non-core services to specialized vendors or consultants, you free up time and resources to invest in your team, your patients, and the future growth of your practice. Of course, every practice is different, and it's important to evaluate your own unique situation. For some, a hybrid approach might be the best solution, outsourcing certain services while keeping others in-house. For others, fully embracing outsourcing may offer the strategic advantages they need to stay competitive in a rapidly evolving healthcare landscape. As always, we encourage you to work with experienced consultants like the team at Healthy Practices to help guide you through these decisions. With the right support, you can find the right balance between in-house and outsourced services, ensuring your practice runs smoothly, efficiently, and profitably. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Medical Money Matters. Be sure to tune in for our next episode where we'll be diving into more strategies for financial success and operational efficiency in your medical practice. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a review if you found today's discussion helpful. Until next time. You can find more information online at medicalmoneymatterspodcast.com, and you can sign up to be notified when enrollment opens for the Medical Money Matters e-learning program for a mini MBA physician style, which will carry CME credits and will be released in upcoming months. In that, we'll do an even deeper dive so you can understand dynamic budgeting strategies, cash flow forecasting, and other more esoteric financial concepts. We've included those links in the show notes. As I like to close out these podcasts, congratulations on taking the next step in your professional development and for making the commitment to learn about the financial and business aspects of your practice. I look forward to being on this journey with you and send you my heartfelt gratitude for all that you do for your patients all day, every day.